Good afternoon, and welcome to the Civilian Complaint Review Board's October meeting. Thank you all for joining us for this discussion about policing and civilian oversight in New York City. I'm Fred Davey, and I am chair of the board. And tonight I'm particularly excited to discuss the role of New York City's youth in the conversation about police oversight. But before we get started, I'd like to ask my colleagues on the board to introduce themselves to you. So I'm going to start on my screen as I see my colleagues. So I will start with Corinne Irish.
Hi, everyone. Corinne Irish. I am a mayoral designee, and I live.
I'm sorry, Corinne, can you do that again for us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Corinne Irish. I'm a mayoral appointee and live in Harlem, New York.
Great. Esmeralda Simmons. Esmeralda, I think you're on mute.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
That's better. Esmeralda Simmons. I'm the public advocate's appointee, and I live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Great. Frank Dwyer.
I'm Frank Dwyer. I'm a police commissioner appointee, and I live in Queens.
Right. Nathan Joseph.
Good afternoon. My name is Nathan Joseph. I am a city council designee from Staten Island, and I live in Staten Island.
Great. Michael Rivadeneira.
Hi, good afternoon. Michael Rivadeneira, a city council appointee representing the borough of the Bronx, and I live in the Bronx.
Great. Mr. Willie Freeman.
Good evening, I'm Willie Freeman. I'm a police commissioner appointee. I reside in the borough of Brooklyn.
Welcome. Thank you. And we are, I know Mr. Siegel is planning to join us tonight. I don't see him on my screen. I know Ms. Dolly Butts is planning to join us tonight. I don't see her on my screen. I saw Ms. Pinsky on my screen. She seems to have disappeared. Angela Pinsky, are you there? Okay. Did I miss anyone?
Ms. Daly.
Yeah, hey Fred, it's Sal Carcaterra. I'm calling in. Hello everybody. I'm a Sal Carcaterra. I'm a police commissioner designee, and I live in the borough of Staten Island.
Great. Hi, Sal.
Hey Fred.
Ms. Daly Butts will be calling in around 4:30, 4:35, but she said we should start.
Okay. And so Mr. Siegel and Ms. Pinsky, we're still waiting to hear from, although Ms. Pinsky was on earlier. We'll wait for her to rejoin. We'll anticipate she's going to rejoin us. So let's just do one order of business before.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Siegel just texted he is on, but his video isn't working, but he's there.
Okay, great. Is his audio working? Mr. Siegel, is your audio working? All right. Well, we know that you're out there in cyberspace watching us. That gives me such comfort.
Here I am. I am here, and my audio is working. I apologize for the delay. John Siegel. I'm a mayoral designee to the board. Glad to be.
And your video is working as well, so that's great.
I'm here in full now.
I'm at ease. Thank you. Let's take care of one housekeeping matter, and that is to approve the minutes of the last two meetings. Is there a motion?
Motion.
All right. Second?
Second.
Those in favor of approving the minutes of our last two meetings, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposition? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. So I'd like to welcome our special guest to this meeting tonight, Young Men's Initiative Executive Director Jordan Stockdale. As some of you know, the CCRB released a public service announcement this past summer aimed at New York City's youth. This PSA was the product of collaboration between our agency's Youth Advisory Council and social justice production company Never Whisper Justice. And the PSA was released in conjunction with CCRB's report on youth and police. As our report on youth and police showed, approximately 90% of young people who file a complaint with the CCRB, who filed the complaint with the CCRB between January 2018 and June 2019, identified as Black or Hispanic, and about 65% identified as Black or Hispanic males. With these findings in mind, the goal of the PSA was to reach those New Yorkers, particularly young New Yorkers of color, who may experience police misconduct and may not know that CCRB is here to investigate and even potentially prosecute the alleged misconduct. We remain extraordinarily proud of the Youth Advisory Council's work on the PSA, which is why I'm particularly excited to have Jordan here tonight. As many of you know, some of you often bring up at our meetings, the CCRB does not currently have advertising on the subway or on the street or in social media. In fact, the CCRB has never had dedicated public education funding that could be used for public service advertising. Jordan Stockdale is here tonight because in partnership with the Young Men's Initiative, we're finally changing the status quo. I am pleased to announce that the Young Men's Initiative will be providing $50,000 for public education funding to the CCRB. This is the, yes indeed, let's applaud. This is indeed the first time we have had public education funding in our 26-year history. The first time we have had public education funding in our 26-year history. Now, it is my pleasure and honor, and I'm really pleased to be able to ask Jordan Stockdale if he will share a few specifics about the program and about the initiative, and tell us some about the Young Men's Initiative as well. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. David. Thank you, Chair. Before I talk about the specifics, I want to share a personal story. Last night, I was reading over the stories from your report titled Youth and Police, and they made me so mad. Young kids taken to the station house for playing with sticks, teens stopped and frisked for walking through a housing development while wearing a backpack. It was painful because it reminded me of 10 years ago when I was stopped and frisked. I was a teacher at the time, and I left my apartment in East Harlem to run some errands in the early evening. I made it about 2 blocks from my house when several plainclothes officers ran up on me, pushed me to a wall, and aggressively patted me down. I was totally horrified. They were big guys. And when I finally found the courage to ask, why did you do this? They made some snide comment about my clothes and my basketball shorts. I said nicely, you didn't have to do it this way. And they told me, don't tell me how to do my job. I stood there for several minutes after they left, shook up. And when I finally started walking, I turned the corner and the same police had another group of young teenagers up against the wall. Now, we are in a completely different era, and thankfully, we have ended stop and frisk. And thankfully, the mayor has passed several reforms. But the importance of the CCRB is still paramount. When I was a young teacher, I didn't know the CCRB existed, and thus I had no idea that I could call and file a complaint. And too many people today do not know the CCRB exists or do not feel comfortable filing a complaint. We hope that this first public education campaign can help more New Yorkers, particularly our young Black and brown youth, feel empowered to file complaints when appropriate. And so through the campaign, the Young Men's Initiative will allocate $50,000 in this fiscal year towards youth and young adult targeted radio advertisements and social media advertising. We will run ads in Spanish as well as English. And moreover, through the partnership with DYCD, we will hire and train youth to serve as youth education trainers who will educate thousands of their peers on how and when to contact the CCRB. And so I want to thank the chair, the whole CCRB team, the Center for Youth Employment, and DYCD for their partnership on this effort. And just a little bit more information about the Young Men's Initiative, per the chair's request. We fund and co-manage initiatives across workforce development, criminal justice reform, and education. And so we are here to help reduce disparities that have existed for many years. We hope that this initiative will continue in that vein.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much, Jordan. We really appreciate this investment by the Young Men's Initiative and your personal commitment to this. And as always, as we work to improve police community relations, we are always moved and often disturbed by the stories we hear about these unfortunate encounters that too many New Yorkers, particularly New Yorkers of color, particularly men of color, have had with officers of the NYPD. So we are appreciative that your story and your life have inspired you to do something on behalf of other young men. And we're really pleased about this partnership that the CCRB will develop with you. And as you explained to us, this funding will be used to promote the message crafted by our Youth Advisory Council in their public service announcement over the radio and on social media, so that the CCRB can more effectively reach New Yorkers who need us but who don't know us. This is an exciting project that would not be possible without you, Jordan, and the Young Men's Initiative and this partnership we've developed. And again, I'm extremely grateful for the willingness, your willingness, to support our agency's mission. So thank you again for the good work that you're doing. We also have members of the Youth Advisory Council in attendance tonight. And to them, I want to reiterate that your work on the public service announcement, the PSA, and advising our staff here at the CCRB has been invaluable to the agency. Before this partnership with YMI, your PSA was shared far and wide. As of July, the PSA had already had more than 50,000 impressions on social media. And I'm excited that we can now share the work of our Youth Advisory Council with even more New Yorkers because of this investment by the Young Men's Initiative. Our Youth Advisory Council, all of you, have been an important part of the agency over the past year. You have set the bar high for the 2021 class of the Youth Advisory Council. I'd like to take this opportunity now to hear from a current Youth Advisory Council member, Aaliyah Davenport, who is with us tonight and would like to share her experience with the Youth Advisory Council. Aaliyah, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for being here again, and I'm honored to even be able to speak right here. My name is Aaliyah Davenport, and I'm a part of the YAC, the 2019 to present term. And honestly, YAC has shaped my life tremendously. From the moment I was in freshman year, I was interested in social justice, but I wanted to use that same energy and like articulate it and push that toward my own community, especially with police reform. So joining YAC, I was blessed to be full of like such supportive, like-minded, passionate individuals like me who want to see change in our community, want to see change in the world overall. And joining YAC, I really encourage many people around me because for one, you get the chance to use your passions, your smarts, your intelligence, and put it toward real world justice in a way, because in the society we live in, there's a lot of corruption going on. There is a lot of change we need, and we definitely need this generation, the youth specifically, to carry on that fire, carry on that change, and try to see how much more we can continue to bring more justice and change toward the police reform and in general.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And And we really appreciate not only your work, which has been extremely important, but the work of you and your co-members of the Youth Advisory Council and the contributions you've made to the agency. So thank you. And on that note, I'd like to announce that the application for the next class of our Youth Advisory Council is now open. The YAC is an incredible opportunity for young people in New York City to make a real difference here at the agency, at the CCRB, and for our city as a whole. So I would really like to encourage young people to apply. If you'd like to apply, please check the CCRB's Twitter account at CCRB_NYC, at CCRB_NYC for more information, or go to the outreach section of the CCRB website. I'd also like to ask the moderators for tonight to please drop the link to the application in the chat box as soon as you can. So I guess that means Yahira or someone to drop the link in the chat box for the participant.
I will do it, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. Thank you, John. Finally, as we confront a number of challenges reopening our city and getting New Yorkers back on their feet, I'd like to thank our city's essential workers who continue to serve all of us in the face of COVID-19, and that includes members of the NYPD. We're all grateful for all the contributions of essential workers to this city's health and well-being. And with that, again, thanking Mr. Stockdale, Jordan Stockdale, again, thanking our Youth Advisory Council member, Aaliyah Davenport. With that, I now turn over the floor to our Executive Director, John Darsh, who has a few words to share. John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since our last monthly meeting, the CCRB held a special meeting on the NYPD's proposed disciplinary matrix. The agency sent analysis and summary of the public feedback we received to the NYPD. It was a productive meeting that we hope will have an impact on the NYPD's final disciplinary matrix. We're still waiting for the Second Circuit's decision on whether the CCRB can disclose certain officer disciplinary information. We are ready if that decision comes down and allows us to disclose information. We've been working very hard on our searchable website, and it is ready to go once we receive word from the Second Circuit. Our plans to implement a secure room for review of BWC footage had been put on hold because of the pandemic, but we've been working with City Hall, the department, and the Office of Management and Budget, and DCAS to get that room up and running, and we'll hope to have an update later this fall. I want to join the chair and the rest of the agency in thanking the 2020 class of the Youth Advisory Council. As the chair said, the work they did for the agency will have an impact on our public education efforts for a long time to come. And I'm excited to welcome the new YAC class later this year. The CCRB is still taking complaints, but we are trying to make the health of complainants, staff, and members of the NYPD a priority, and it informs all of our operations. Our office remains open with limited staff. I strongly encourage individuals to contact us by telephone, email, or through our website if possible. If you'd like to file a complaint, go to nyc.gov/CCRB complaint or call our hotline at 1-800-341-2272. Investigators are now able to conduct all of their work, including interviews of civilian and members of the NYPD remotely, and mediations are also moving to a remote format. When we get to the public comments section of this meeting, if you wish to make a comment, please use the raise your hand feature, and we will call on you and allow you access to the mic. We're going to set a maximum time to speak at 2 minutes. And if you want to discuss a problematic encounter you had with an officer or you witnessed with an officer, we ask you to give us contact information so that our investigators can follow up with you. If you have a specific question about a presentation that's made, you can use the Q&A feature. I see there are already some in there, and I'll make sure that there are answers given. But please reserve your questions or comments that are unrelated to a presentation for the public session. And I want to thank the staff for their continued hard work, and thanks again to the members of the public for participating.
Thank you, Mr. Darsh. Before we proceed, let's see if there are any comments or questions from any other board members on either the report that we heard from YMI and our YAC, or for Mr. Darsh on his report. Mr. Joseph.
Thank you, Chair. I just really want to thank Mr. Stockdale so much from the bottom of my heart. This has been something that I've been praying for since I've been on the CCRB. So thank you so much for this. And thank you, Ms. Davenport and your team. This is going to be outstanding. This is going to be great. I feel reinvigorated because of what the two of you are doing. I really appreciate it. Just want to let you guys know that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Any other comments, questions before we proceed? All right. Can we have Ms. Bond introduce herself, since she's joined us since we got started?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Erica Bond. I'm a mayoral appointee. Thrilled to see Jordan Stockdale here, whom I know well from having worked with him in the past, and really excited to see the way in which YMI is supporting this work. So thank you, Jordan.
Excellent. All right, so we will proceed with the remainder of our agenda, and we're going to hear from Jahai Rose, who's our Deputy Director of Outreach and Intergovernmental Affairs, and he's got a presentation on outreach. Jahai.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Chair Davey, I'm going to share my screen. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes.
As you all may know, the Civilian Complaint Review Board is the nation's largest independent oversight entity of the largest police force in the country. The CCRB investigates, mediates, and prosecutes complaints of police misconduct against members of the New York City Police Department. The agency is governed by a 15-member board with 5 seats appointed by the mayor, 5 appointed by the New York City Council, 3 designated by the police commissioner, 1 appointed by the New York City Public Advocate, and the chair is jointly appointed by the mayor and the city council. While we investigate allegations of misconduct, we do not investigate all allegations of misconduct. So an easy reminder is the acronym THATO. We investigate allegations of force, abuse of authority, discourtesy, and offensive language. I wanted to provide you with some brief information regarding the Right to Know Act. The Right to Know Act is a law that went into effect October 19th of 2018. During certain first search and sobriety checkpoints and other encounters, officers should identify themselves by providing their name and other information, such as their rank, command, and shield number. With some exceptions, explain the purpose of their interaction. Inform you of your right to say no when asking for consent to search your person, property, vehicle, or home. And offer you a business card with the police officer's information that explains how to make a comment or complaint about an interaction with the NYPD. Civilians may request a business card in all interactions. This is an image of what the business cards may look like. Now, there are a few ways to file a complaint with regarding police misconduct. As John Darsh mentioned, you can file a complaint online at nyc.gov/CCRB complaint. You can also call our hotline at 1-800-341-CCRB. Remember, if you see footage of misconduct on social media or on the news, you can file a complaint even if you aren't there in person. A few other ways to file a complaint. You can feel free to call 311. You can visit our office at 100 Church Street on the 10th floor at New York 10007, or you can feel free to visit a local police precinct. You can also send a letter to the Civilian Complaint Review Board. As previously mentioned, the Youth Advisory Council applications are open. We encourage all of you, if you do, these applications are open to young people between the ages of 10 and 18 to apply. The information has been shared in the chat. We will share it again. And if you have any young people that you believe may be fit for the YSC, feel free to pass the information on. Lastly, if you would like a presentation from the Civilian Complaint Review Board's outreach unit, feel free to email us at outreach@ccrb.nyc.gov. You could also follow the CCRB on social media, on Instagram, Twitter, and or Facebook. Thank you.
Let's see if any of our board members have questions or comments. Okay, then we will, thanks again, Jahai. We will move to the public comment section of the meeting. And if anyone is interested in making a public comment, please raise your hand, use the raise your hand feature, and we will go down the for those people who have raised their hands. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes so that everyone has an opportunity to speak tonight. And so I'm going to ask Yahaira Flores if she'll help us to moderate the list. And let's get public comments. I'm going to ask the board members if you mute your mics until you're ready to speak. That way, and anyone else who has an open mic, please mute it, and that way our speakers can make their comments without interruption. There are a couple of mics still open. We're hearing some feedback, so if you could check your mic just to make sure it's muted. And so, Yahaira, will you call our first person for public comment?
Great. So first we have April Cardena. Soren, if you can unmute her.
Thank you. Thanks, Yahaira, and thank you, Chair. So I'm actually a member of the 2019-2020 cohort for the Young Advisory Council, and I just wanted to extend my gratitude to everyone who made it possible for us young folk to have a voice and in things that actually matter. We speak a lot about the next generation and the young generation, and the CCRB gave us that platform to make a difference. And so I just wanted to express my gratitude and thank all of you for everything you've done, my fellow YAC members. And that's really all I wanted to say, is just give my appreciation, and can't wait to see more of the work that gets done.
Well, thank you. And again, thanks to all of you for your contribution. You provide us all with inspiration, as Mr. Joseph said, because in many ways, and you are sort of the future. You're the next board members of the CCRB, and the next mayor and speaker of the city council and city controller and governor and president. So we're looking to you to help us better understand how we can help you prepare for the future and continue to improve this relationship between the NYPD and the people that they are sworn to serve. So thank you for your contributions. Thanks again. Yahaira, our next speaker, please.
Great. And as a reminder for those that would like to speak, you can use the raise the hand feature that's found on the bottom of your screen. Before moving forward, I just want to acknowledge that Latoya LeGrand from Senator Comrie's office is in attendance, as well as Reynat Relaford from the City of Syracuse Citizen Review Board, and Lermont Mays from Assemblywoman Inez Dickens' office. Next, Alan Switcher from the Office of the Queensborough President, and Monica Franklin from the Vices Group in Hollis, Queens. Thank you all for attending. Next, we will have S. Abbott. I know that you have an issue raising your hand, so we'll unmute you, and you have 2 minutes.
Can you hear me okay?
best we can. Please.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I will try to keep this brief. I'm not going to talk about my case, which is now pending before CCRB, but I do want to make clear that I take very seriously I'm giving CCRB one more chance to satisfy me in a matter of police abuse. On August 19th and 25th, I had conversations with CCRB investigator Nick Venduris and supervising investigator Matt Shaves on the phone. Supervising investigator Shaves said to me this extraordinary thing: we are not authorized to speak human being to human being. That's preparatory to what I want to make the main point about tonight. Because I followed up with CCRB investigative manager Vanessa Rosen, who said that she was forwarding my email to our legal department. That was August 28th. I have heard nothing since, and I have heard nothing with regard to the mediation of my case. I want to call attention to the CCRB intake form, file a complaint of police misconduct, which you fill out online. And it says, and I quote, towards the bottom of the form, to thoroughly investigate your incident, the CCRB might need to obtain body-worn camera video from the NYPD, including video that is related to a sealed case or may otherwise require your permission before it can be lawfully disclosed. Do you consent to the CCRB giving access to these videos to do its investigation? Then there's an asterisk, which leads absolutely nowhere. And then there's a very distinct checkbox, yes or no. I checked no. Now I learned from supervising investigator Matt Shaves, and he said to me, and I quote, I am instructing you he's addressing me. I am instructing you, civilian, to understand that you are not parsing this section of the online form correctly. This language only applies to if you are arrested. You are not arrested. Your no means nothing to our investigation. The officer's ability to control his own body cam, to switch it on and off as he pleases, is not relevant. Now, I want to make a quotation here from a much wiser source, Confucius, who says, if language is not used rightly, then what is said is not what is meant. If what is said is not what is meant, then that which ought to be done is left undone. Justice will go awry. And if justice goes awry, the people will stand about in helpless confusion. No, the people won't stand about in helpless confusion. They will demand that CCRB stop using this form, which hasn't been updated in years, because what this legal language says is not what it means. I am instructing you to understand that you're not parsing this correctly, says the supervising investigator. It says very clearly, to thoroughly investigate your incident, the CCRB might need to obtain body-worn camera video, including video that is related to a sealed case. The case is not sealed.
So will you ask a question, or?
So the question is, will you do anything to look at a form, an online form, that CCRB has not updated in years? And also, will you investigate the likes of Matt Shaves, who says, I am instructing you, civilian, to listen to me, talking to me like he is the boss of the situation. There needs to be an ECRB, an elected civilian review board. The CCRB had better step up.
If you can hear me, will you mute the speaker, please?
Mr. Chair, can I address his points?
Yes. Yeah.
So I just want to say that I heard what the speaker said. I will review the interview that was conducted by supervising investigator Shaves and make sure that the conversation that the interview was conducted properly and review the matter and report back to the board on what happened. In addition, that language is new that the speaker was talking about. And while Mr. Shaves may have spoken in a way that the civilian found inappropriate, he was trying to convey accurately the information, there are reasons why the NYPD will not share body-worn camera footage with us. And if we get the consent of the subject of the person making the complaint or who is in the video, they will then share the videos. And so we updated the website so that we could obtain consent if there is something that the NYPD feels is sealed. If the complaint is not sealed because there was not an arrest, then we don't need the consent of the person who is in the video.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Dosh, and I do appreciate your following up with the speaker and then with this last speaker and then reporting back to the board at our next meeting or sometime in between. So thank you. Yahira, our next speaker, please.
The next person that we have on the list is John Sonda.
Board member John Siegel. Who has the authority to hire and fire the executive director of the CCRB?
Mr. Sonda, welcome back. Mr. Siegel, would you like to respond? I'm going to take that as either we lost Mr. Siegel or...
Here, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I don't know why this question is being addressed to me. It's a legal question, and if counsel to the board wants to respond, that's fine with me.
Thank you. So, Mr. Sonda, we've heard from you now for, I think, about 6 meetings running. Unless you have something new to offer, we are going to move to our next speaker.
He said somebody legal, so Executive Director Jonathan Darsh, can you answer that question?
So, Soren, if you'll mute the speaker, unfortunately, and we will go to the next person on Yahira's list. Yahira.
Thank you, Chair Davey. That concludes our public session. I just wanted to just end by saying thank you all to the Youth Advisory Council members. Thank you for sharing those words, Aaliyah, Thomas, everyone, and thank you so much and have a great night. And if you have any youth that you're working with, please forward the application over to them.
Thank you, and I want to thank all the 102 participants who signed on tonight for the board meeting. I want to see if there's old business to come before the board. Any new business to come before the board? Hearing none, is there a motion that we adjourn to executive session?
So motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned to executive session. Thanks, executive session. Thanks again to Jordan Stockdale, to Aaliyah Davenport, to all the Youth Advisory Council members for this great work and this great partnership. And we look forward to many good things to come that we'll hear reports back on as the year before us unfolds. So thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. We'll adjourn to executive session and hope to see everyone at the next meeting.